The following program is sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, streaming to you live on the South Florida Live networks. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, hopefully it's on your computer. Hopefully, if you don't catch the show on with the video stream live, you can watch it anytime the rest of the day. Or for those of you who still have a radio around or in your car riding around, check us out on oldiesouthflorida.com every night, 8 to 9 p.m. And we also have the full audio-only archive on oldiesouthflorida.com. We welcome to the show, as usual, today, Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. How are you, gentlemen, and how was your weekends?
Weekend was great. A lot of degenerate gambling involved. In fact, it was a 2-day session with the Mustang back on a roll, which was fantastic. Of course, induced by a substantial amount of free play, which usually leads to $300-400 in losses. But instead, we capitalized, so that was great. And so some very interesting things, and still lingering impact from our Friday visit to Chefery and the Broski Cider Works. Which,
yeah, that's right. Chefery Eats was
that
Chefery.
food was outstanding, Mike Mayo. And people are always saying, "Oh yeah, you can get some good stuff on the food trucks." As good as any restaurant that I've been to, and it was great.
No, he has very tasty fare. Jeffrey Allen Lemmerman is his real name, but he goes by Chefery Eats, play on his first name, Jeffrey, with chef. Awesome. He's got 2 trucks now. One of them up at the original location is in Boca Raton, outside the Barrel of Monks Brewing Company, which is in a little hard-to-find warehouse district in Boca, off of Congress and just above Yamato Road, I guess. But the second location at this Broski Cider Works, and that was an interesting place. It was good talking to David Verdugo, former engineering geek, and not a geek. I mean, it's a compliment because he loves he loves being precise with formulas and things like that, and he's tinkered with all the blends of apples along with some of the more tropical fruits that you find down here, the mangoes and the whatnots. It was a lovely afternoon, and I put what Jeffrey makes in the category of extreme food. The kids like it. It's like, all these different flavor combinations and piling burgers up top with all these different things. But, but some of the basics would just, he has a really great burger if you just want to go in there and order a basic cheeseburger. And those wings, I don't know about you, but I love those, just basically the Thai chili wings with just some good, plump, delicious, well-cooked wings. So compliments to him. But, gentlemen, we're like sharks, great white sharks here on Lunchbox. That was Friday. We got to keep moving on because we just keep moving forward.
Oh,
and
geez,
more
not you again.
Sandwiches.
Would you
more
already
food.
eat the potato salad before you got on the show? What
Did
is
you
that?
see? This is a half-eaten macaroni
God.
salad.
That's particularly appealing, I would imagine, to the people looking on visually here on Let's Eat South Florida.
Look, I did my walk of life this morning. My daughter went to the gym, the Y in Lauderdale. I did my little loop around the track. I didn't quite get to 3 miles, about 2.8 miles. But you know what? That's better than nothing on a
It's been a daily thing.
Monday. Yeah, no, I've been good. I took Shabbos off on Saturday. I didn't walk, but I've been doing 6 days a week. So it's keeping me in the game, Defo. Otherwise you would have to just roll me out and maybe find a substitute.
I'm thinking more like, you could roll a 7 the way you've been going at it with these sandwiches, which isn't good. I mean, you don't want to, that 7 out coming up, but no, you're going to go doubleheader today, and then we have we're finishing with a bang this month. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So let me give the lineup. First of all, I made it out to Pomperdale Deli yesterday. Nice. I tried to hit VNS after having brunch with Dickstein up in Del Rey at this Batch Gastro Pub, which that you guys are tough on me. I ordered specifically an avocado toast, thinking that like
It's
it's
not
an
a
open
sandwich.
face sandwich.
No,
It's like
it's
an
not.
open face sandwich. It had an egg
No,
on
get out of
top.
here. Avocado toast, you're
It's
going to
not
count
a
as a sandwich?
A different kind of version. It had a little like a sweet potato spread along with some fried chickpeas and the avocado and a fried egg and a big piece of what they call como bread that they make in house there. And it was so thick. It's like an Italian style hearty rustic bread. I could hardly put it in my mouth. And this was just like a open faced half sandwich. And it was like almost as big as Tom T's muffaletta. But be that as it may, you didn't count that. So I think I was still stuck at 41 if you count the well, yeah, I had on Saturday, I did the cheesesteak at Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies in Hollywood. Then yesterday, I wanted to go to VNS. I called them on the way back from Del Rey. I figured I was going to just put an order in for a chicken fontina melt because I wanted to highlight that sandwich. I love that sandwich.
Nice.
After being placed on hold for like 5 minutes, they finally come to me and I said, "Hey, I wanted to order a chicken fontina for pickup." And she says, "We're running about an hour to an hour 15, for the pickup orders." And I was like,
Jeez.
I'm
Hour
on a
and
tight
15 minutes?
yeah,
You
I was
did?
on a tight schedule. She said at least an hour. And I was like, I'm on a tight schedule because I was trying to get down to Pomperdale to get my sandwiches for today's show because this was near and dear to my heart. So I had a bag VNS Deli for a second straight week, which is unfortunate because it's one of the great sandwiches in town. But I guess it's getting nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. So it's like
Dave, a
yeah,
little bit, some people say no, but I always detect a little bit of an attitude the times I've been in there.
No,
a
I
little
don't
bit of an attitude.
I don't have an attitude. Well, I don't know.
Not you. I mean, I'm
No.
talking about the people that run the
See,
place.
what I wonder is if I
There's
just
a little soup Nazi mentality there at times. I don't know if it's all the time, but at times.
you know what they say is that I guess the scarcity creates demand. So I
Yes.
was wondering, like, they told me an hour. Like, what if I didn't call? What if I just went over there and would there might
would've
have
got
been
it
a
right
little
away.
line? I probably would have got it right away. But instead, I didn't go. But what I did get, and this
You
is
need
an
more of an
emotional.
angle on that. You're gonna have to
Okay,
tip
here we
that
go.
down a little bit.
Here we go.
So,
All right.
so we go.
So
That's not the tongue sandwich, is it?
this is the tongue sandwich. This is
Oh, jeez.
the most expensive sandwich in the joint at Pomperdale's because most of their deli meats, the turkey goes for 14, the deli meats go for 18 for the smaller sandwich, but the
Looks,
tongue,
I mean,
I
great.
guess
No, it's
the
nice.
You
tongue
got your
is a
money's worth. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a nice.
tongue. Yeah, oh yeah, the tongue is a premium product, and I think this they consider the smaller version.
Oh, jeez.
And it was like $23 with tax and everything. It was
23 bucks.
25.
All right.
Yeah, it's $23 at Pomperdale. But Pomperdale's on East Commercial Boulevard, actually right across the street from Broad Shoulder Sandwiches, where we had our Visit Lauderdale edition the other week. And but this is a classic kind of old school Jewish New York
And
deli
you
that
just do deli mustard, right? Like you don't do
What do you
anything.
have on it? No, no
just deli
condiments?
mustard. Just
Oh, yeah?
just deli mustard. And
Okay.
again, so today,
Let
August
me ask you a
29th.
question before
Yeah.
you get going here. I mean, because tongue would be something I would never try it, especially not after seeing Midnight Express, where the guy Brad Davis, who's playing William Hayes, eats Rifki's tongue, the rat. So yeah, tongue is tainted for me. But how does it compare with other meats in terms of taste, tenderness, that sort of thing?
It's a little bit
It sounds like
fattier.
it's going to be tough. I mean, it just does.
No. It's quite au contraire, my unfoodie friend.
Yeah.
The
I'm not
tongue is
ordering a tongue sandwich no matter what you say about it. So
well.
it's
Look,
okay.
this has a. If you'd let me finish, this
Yeah.
has deep emotional ties to me because today would have been my father's 90th birthday.
Oh,
Rest
well,
in
nice.
peace, Robert.
All
Miller.
right, I understand.
My
that.
dad, who was a dentist, lived. He worked his final his office for the last 20 years or so of his career was located right up the block from the Mill Basin Deli, which was a great old school Brooklyn kosher deli in my neighborhood. And his favorite was tip tongue, specifically tongue sandwiches, which a lot of people don't eat that because it's the cow's tongue, but it's actually it's a very fatty and flavorful part of the cow, and it is not tough at all. In fact, it's very delicate,
No,
and
it
it's a
sounds
little bit, so it's one of those things where people might, they recoil a little bit. Again, it's the same thing at taco stands. Some of the really hardcore authentic taco stands, their biggest sellers are lengua tacos, because everybody knows who's in the know that the tongue is one of the biggest delicacies that can come from an animal, a cow specifically. So anyway, in honor of my dad,
I think Canelo Alvarez used that as an excuse for why he had steroids in his system. He was eating a tongue sandwich from this deli that you went to. All right.
well, you know what? I'd rather be that than Mike Tyson and eat an ear sandwich, or he would just dispense with the bread and just nibble on the ears straight off the bat.
Nobody saw it the first time, even Mills Lane.
I was
Hall of
there.
Fame
I was
referee.
sick.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the third row of the press row there,
Yeah.
sitting right next to Ron
I
Borges,
know,
great
classic.
boxing writer.
Were you
And
screaming,
we
"Stop
all-
it, ref"? What were you screaming? I mean, were you
We
yelling?
all thought
Yeah.
we didn't. You're right. We didn't detect it the first time, but the second time was he really went in and lunged, and then when like he was done, and we saw the silhouette of Holyfield. He looked like Count Dracula with his ears, so, and blood was spurting everywhere, and it was kind of just wild. And we were like, "Oh my god, this is really happening!" And
Such ugliness. Yes. All right. So you're going to chow down on his tongue sandwich right here on the air.
Yeah, this is
That's
in
the move
honor,
today?
memory of my great dad, who today, it's not even a sad day for me. It's just, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I had a guy who was really kind and loving and caring and supportive.
How many
as a
years ago
father.
did he pass away? Did you say?
So he died in 2019, and so it's a little over 3 years since he's been gone.
Made
and,
87, and he got
he made
pretty far up
almost
there.
made 87,
Right.
86, 86 and a hook. And my parents were married almost 65 years. They
Wow.
almost made it to 65. High school sweethearts. So this one's for you, Brooklyn Barbie. I'm going to have a nice bite of a tongue sandwich from Pomperdale Deli in Fort Worth.
All right. While he does that, we can tell you that Mike Mayo
Oh,
has
wow.
achieved world renown.
This is tender. That's really good.
Yeah. All right.
I haven't had a tongue sandwich in forever. It's not something.
Well,
usually
I mean,
order.
and don't make it your last then if you're enjoying it this much, because you're as excited about this as you were about any of them. Pomperdale Deli, by the way, I mean, they are class all the way when it comes to the sandwiches they make. And, the prices obviously have been hiked up, but they give you your money's worth. You almost need like a jack to keep your mouth open to squeeze those sandwiches down. Although when you slimed that chicken sandwich from Cheffery's the other day, we couldn't believe that you were able to get your hands around that, number one, and then your mouth around it, number two. But you have to talk about the thing that's in like Sun and Sand or whatever that magazine is that the Sun Sentinel puts out.
I love
While
it.
you have a mouthful of tongue sandwich. Come on, Mayo, you're famous, for God's sake. Don't be so humble. I mean, you're like Mike McDaniel here. You just, I'm just a football coach. What is that?
In due time, Defo, in due time. Right now, I'm enjoying and savoring my tongue sandwich, and I got to meet one of the proprietors, Bree, who is the daughter, I guess the owner who took it over. Her father bought it 12 years ago from one of the original owners, and the new ownership, the dad is from Queens, so he knows his deli background. And it was nice to meet them. And the one thing I like about Pomperdale, I mean, among many things, it's a little bit cramped and chaotic in there, but they got good veteran old school deli slicers and countermen that make the sandwiches. And anytime you tip them, they ring a bell and say Subway. And have you heard that or seen that? You know that?
I have been in there. Yeah, I used to frequent this place quite often. They were at one time a sponsor of our Saturday trivia show. And they used to come and bring all kinds of stuff to the show. And it was a big highlight when we were doing it at JM Lexus. And immediately the entire staff, when they knew that Pomperdale was coming, would be gravitating around the table where, as in other cases, they were just getting their day started and they would kind of ignore us, and go about their business. But when Pomperdale was hitting the store there, which was over a series of months, everybody was around. They were all our friends, and they couldn't wait. And wow, I mean, dynamite! All of the deli sandwiches they have there are top notch. And they have other things too. They're very well known for their chicken noodle soup. That's like a classic at
They have
this
a good
place.
matzo
The way
ball,
they do it,
noodle
yeah. The
soup.
matzo ball, and then breakfasts are great there. Have good.
I almost got the soup yesterday, except for the fact that it was like 103 degrees, feels like temperature outside. So I did. I begged.
You're not
off
afraid
the
to
soup.
schwitz though when it comes to your food.
Yeah,
You're
no,
not afraid to
that's
work one up.
But Bree was nice enough. She threw in gratis half a pastrami sandwich because she knows I like pastrami.
Nice.
So I chowed on that yesterday. That counts as yesterday's sandwich. So
All right. And
I'm
when did
keeping
you
it
eat
going.
this potato salad? When did you scarf that down?
No, it's macaroni salad.
Oh, whatever that was. Yeah.
A little bit yesterday, a little bit this morning after.
Are
the
you
walk.
inclined to buy like a pound of this stuff? I'll tell you who has really good potato salad and macaroni
my
salad
fork.
is your VNS. When I was there the last time I was there, which might have been the first time, I got like a pound of both, and excellent and reasonably priced at your VNS subs. So if you can get in there, and don't get a little bit of a tooth. All right. So you like the tongue sandwich? How does it compare to others?
It's tender. It's a much more tender meat. It's like butter, literally. I mean, it really just is so melt in your mouth kind of texture.
You can see what your dad likes. All right.
It's not for everybody. It doesn't have any kind of strong flavor. It's not like gamey or anything like that.
Yeah.
It tastes like any other deli meat. It's just
You will literally be speaking in tongues the rest of the show, is what you're saying.
When it's sliced up like deli meat, it just tastes.
cow's tongue.
I think Mayo froze up on us there. There.
All
right.
Wait. Am I? Oh, I did my cow. I did my moo, and I guess that just froze my computer. It didn't know what happened.
Even your computer is disgusted by your behavior on this show with the constant stuffing of your face. It's amazing. The distinguished guy. What is that thing called? Sun and Sand, Sea and Turf, or whatever. I don't know. It was wild. A giant magazine.
Let me just get the bits of.
You're on the cover. Unbelievable, Mike Mayo.
No, not on the cover. It wasn't a cover piece, but it's called City and Shore Magazine.
All right.
And I don't know if it's put out. I think it's like a quarterly thing that it's like a luxury magazine publication that's put out under the auspices of the Sun Sentinel, but it's its own staff. And they have an annual food and wine edition. And for some reason, they got in touch with me back in May, one of the writers, and said, hey, we want to do like a little bit of an update on you, what you're doing now and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do you really want to focus on me? I was like, fine, okay. I thought it was going to be a little one-page thing, just talking about how we started this radio show, the Lunchbox, and about the Let's Eat group and stuff like that. What I didn't know is, and I did a, nice little, I probably spoke to Greg as a former, he was a former colleague of mine at the Sun Sentinel for a long time, but we spoke. It was probably late May, early June. And I kind of forgot about it until he sent me the proofs of it. And I didn't realize it was a 4-page spread in this thing, like, with a huge, big glossy picture, a headshot that Dickstein took. And man, Dickstein could be a portrait photographer.
He should be doing bar mitzvahs and weddings, Dickstein. Because this picture of you, Mike Mayo, you look so good that I would imagine you're going to get any number of just like how some guy goes to jail and all of a sudden 20 girls want to marry him. When they see this picture, the women of South Florida, that's it. It's no longer going to be off limits on Mayo.
As long as they see me from the neck up, because the bottom parts are getting a little bit unwieldy after 40-something sandwiches now. But
are you going to make it to 50? You're kind of like chasing Barry Bonds' home run record. Are you going to make it to 50?
I think you guys, because the judges are so tough, they're not granting me dispensation on the tacos or the open face avocado toast. I think I'm going to be stuck in the low 40s. Although we're going to close with a furious rush, guys, because we got top round tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. My friend David Chesal, who is also an old deli guy, but his forte now is these roast beef sandwiches, all these different styles of roast beef, which I love. You dunk them in a little bit of the au jus. He does one with horseradish. He does one that's the beef on weck, the buffalo style, that has those camel weck buns that have the caraway seeds and the salt on top. Yeah, we're going to be going a little bit crazy. He also does like some deli type stuff there, including pastrami and whatnot. So tomorrow we'll be getting stuff.
Now where is that place located? Where exactly?
Right on the main corner, downtown Fort Lauderdale, Broward Boulevard and Federal Highway. It's on that west. It's on the northwest corner.
Park at the courthouse?
No, you park. There's a whole big parking lot. It's a little chaotic in there, but there's there's like a pizza place in there. There's a sushi joint, but at the very end is the top round roast beef joint. So that'll be tomorrow's show. Come on out, say hi. And besides the roast beef sandwiches, he's got all kinds of good stuff, burgers. They have tater tots, fries, chicken wings, and they have these concretes, the frozen treats afterwards. You can make ice cream shakes or custards or concretes that he blends in stuff. So good for a hot summer's day. You have yourself a nice little roast beef sandwich and a little frozen treat. And then on Wednesday is going to be our big finish, Defo.
This is great.
Was it the original location of
sort of? Well, the original location kind of moved a few feet. They're not on Sea Grape specifically, but it's right there, kind of around the corner of Sea Grape and Commercial. It's on the north side now, and has been for some time, of Laspana's original Hoagies, and they are very excited to have you, Mr. VNS.
Gail is going to be there.
Excited to have you. I don't know if Gail's going to make it. Phil now is kind of running. One of their sons
Are we going to be able to? We're going to have a discussion with somebody who is from.
Somebody will come on the show from.
We need them to tout their wares and explain the background.
I'm sure they'll come on. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and again, I'm a fan. I like their subs. It's just that
Oh, you and your soft bread. I mean,
Given
you
my
know,
druthers, the bread sometimes gets a little mushy, and you
I
know
think
me,
it's
I like
fine.
my crunchy bread,
Yeah.
but it's a very nicely constructed sub. They put on a good show with the whole football throwing, the catching, and the tossing of the meats.
And you get your
Um,
money's worth. That's
you
the
get your
beauty of it.
money's worth.
Yeah, you get your money's worth.
I, I
Absolutely.
have, I have, I have no issue. I'm very happy to finish up the a sandwich bacchanal orgy known as Sandwich Month.
There
That
may
will
be several available to you that day.
they might, if they bring out 7, that'll get me to 50s. Or actually, after tomorrow, I'm probably going to be right around
Guy tomorrow
45.
is gonna bring us 3 or 4, I presume.
Yeah,
I
it
think we
depends.
could hit 50.
So you see Mayo's new strategy, Lubie, and it's
I know,
particularly I mean self-indulging as usual with Mayo, but he grabs the whole sandwich before you even have a chance to look at it, and then rubs his hands all over it, and then shoves it in his face. And I know you think it's appealing to the audience, but you kind of leave us out in the cold there. Like you did with that chicken sandwich, which I was dying to try from Chefery. That was, I mean, a little bit lame, I thought.
I have to apologize. My appetite got the best of me. I just lost all my manners.
Seafood diet, seafood eat it, yeah.
And
Eat it.
no, it was weird. I didn't watch the show back, but I'm sure it was a very ugly moment. I mean, I just lunged at the sandwich because you know what? Because I keep seeing Lubie, like he always takes stuff.
Don't
away
blame
from me,
Lubie.
and
Don't
he's
blame
like
Lubie.
he's
I
reaching in,
just
he's
move
taking
it
the
around.
fries. He
Just move it around.
usually grabs the plate and starts slicing it up. I just saw that sandwich, and it's called the Van Damwich, and it looks like
Looked
it's
great.
something that just
Wow.
has to be. It has to be approached with 2 fists, and you just have to take it. And I saw that it just looked so succulent. And
When did the
and
rankings come
crispy.
out? I mean, you've been talking about you're
Gonna
going to put
rank
some
all of
kind of
them.
order to this, some kind of definition to the whole
When
process,
when the
and
dust
we haven't seen it yet.
settles,
Yeah.
when all the crumbs settle, and I brush off my lap, which will be sometime later in the week, I'll put together a top 10 list of
Oh,
my
nice.
10 favorite sandwiches from Sandwich Month. And it's a shame that VNS is not even going to be in the running.
We'll give
Seaside
them
Subs.
a vote. I mean, the Veterans Committee can vote them in.
Yeah.
I would imagine that they should get recognition. A lot of people love that place and consider it the best
I mean,
of
maybe,
all
No,
sandwich places. Yeah.
And the other place I'm going to include, even though I didn't technically eat the sandwiches in this month in August, but I did have them in July. A place called Seaside Subs in Deerfield Beach. And Andrew and his wife, they do a tremendous job. Tom T turned me out to the place. They have one of the better chicken parm subs that I've had down here in a long time, along with what they call a hot roast beef, the Big Dave. It's like a roast beef melt with sautéed onions and cheese, and it's a fantastic sandwich. I have a feeling Seaside Subs is eligible and will be making a top 10 appearance too.
No
But we'll-
Mahi Reuben, though, or Grouper Reuben. You never dove into, you didn't really get into the seafood category too heavily.
Well, I did. Last week was Seafood Week. We had the lobster roll at Even Keel. I had a
That was great.
traditional classic blackened mahi sandwich at Shenanigans,
Okay.
and that was very fine. But you're right, I didn't go crazy in the seafood realm because I had several disappointments in that arena earlier in the month, so maybe I was a little bit put off of my my fish and seafood, but that's okay. And maybe I'm just a guy who loves to gorge on meat, and I feel sorry for the doctor who's going to have to perform my colonoscopy mid September that I have scheduled. It's kind of like
it's the bypasses that we're worried about. I mean, I know the record is the Polyman with 6.
oh, Jesus.
And most people had the under at 5 and a hook, but he did manage to go for 6, and he doesn't eat like anything along the lines of the way that you have demolished. It's not just that you had 40 sandwiches plus; it's the way that you approached
He's
them.
annihilated him.
Yeah,
you know how sick I am. You know what I had for dinner last night with my daughter?
I'm afraid to ask. I really am.
Really
Yeah.
don't.
We
Obviously,
went
you
to-
had some macaroni salad, which you left on the plate today.
We went to a burger joint up in Fort Lauderdale that I'd never been before, and burgers don't count. We all know. So
Which one was it now?
it's called Burger Stop, but they don't have any consonants in burger. It's BRGR Stop. It's right
Okay.
next to the Gateway Cinema there, but they have the original locations in Coconut Creek. But this was the second location right there on Sunrise, the Big Bend at Sunrise Boulevard and Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. It's in that shopping plaza that's just to the east of the Gateway Cinema.
Yeah.
And it was fine. My daughter likes these smash burgers, so we got like a double combo smash burger, and it comes out way too well done. And that's the way it is. I can't criticize them for it because that's the way a smash burger is. But I just found It was okay. It was okay. I mean, I can't badmouth the joint, but there's other burger places in town I like better. So
What
Yeah,
took over the spot where Canyon used to be? Is there another restaurant
yeah,
there?
it's called Gastrotech, spelled
Okay.
very fancily. And actually, I went in there one time, and I should go back because I really enjoyed the food. It was a little pricey, but it had kind of some of this frou-frou food with, like some of the, the octopus appetizer, and they had all kinds of some nice fish dishes for specials, for the entrees and scallops and things. I should go back in there, but yeah, it used to be Canyon. Now Canyon moved all the way south of the tunnel, which used to be my friend Gio's spot, the Valentino Cucina. But now Canyon is in there, and Canyon has been sold. It's been taken over by this group, including Mike Linder and nobody. I guess I'm getting in the weeds on all the ownership, but Gastrotech, I recommend. I got to get back there, and I don't know why I've only been there one time because I thought the food was really good.
Now, what's the story on Canyon? You say it was taken over by somebody else. Are the reports that it's of the same caliber? It was always considered to be one of the better restaurants here in
Well,
South Florida.
the original chef owner, Chris Wilbur, who ran the place for over 30 years when it was in the old location, they moved it down south during the pandemic. They opened and then they sold. They turned around and sold it. Now, Chris, when I went in there, it was about. I didn't even realize that the place was in the middle of an ownership transition. Chris was still there, and a lot of the food was the same. And they have famous for the prickly pear margaritas,
Yes.
which they still have, and it's still excellent. I had a good meal in there, but this was back in, I'm going to guess, January. Now it's been taken over by this Mike Linder, and he's also in conjunction with this Thompson group. It's interesting. The reports on Let's Eat South Florida have been mixed. Some people go in there and still, love it. Some people say it's, trying to trending downward. It's one of those things you never know who to trust. Trust your own palate. So I met Mike Linder, who owns Yacht and Jet Runway Cafe. I ran into him at a function a couple of weeks ago. He's invited me to come out to Canyon. So at some point I will go out there and have to try it again. Under the new ownership and new kitchen, but we'll see what's going on there. But meanwhile, I guess it's time to start talking about Visit Lauderdale and talking about hitting lots of different places in Fort Lauderdale. It's the ongoing Dine Out Lauderdale going on, part of Lauderdeals. Visit Lauderdale and Nikki Mohan. We had so much fun doing the first round of restaurant visits, part of our Everyone Under the Sun, Every Dish Under the Sun. And we still might make a couple more of those. Stacy Ritter, the head honcho of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Visit Lauderdale, wants to do a show with us. She
Oh,
is
beautiful.
she's a fan, and she sees how well we eat.
Stacy.
So she's gonna choose a location. We're gonna go out there with Nikki and Stacy at some point
Nice.
in September and gear up for the next full season, which will be starting in October. But meanwhile, everybody out there can still avail themselves of this Dine Out Lauderdale special. It's ongoing through the whole month of September, and it's more than 50 participating restaurants throughout the county. Places like Evelyn's at the Four Seasons Resort on Fort Lauderdale Beach, places along Las Olas like Planta Queen and the Riverside Hotel, the Wild, it's called Wild. What is it called? Wild Oats? No, Wild Sea. I should have my notes in front of me. I'm a little fachada today. Casa Sanse is on there. That's on Las Olas. And also places all over the county, like your favorite Cafe Max up there in Pompano.
I do like that place. Yeah.
Cooking the Cork out in Coral Springs. All kinds of good places. Toro around the corner from me in the new Meridian Hotel in Dania Beach, right next to the airport, getting some very rave reviews, upscale Latin cuisine. That's on the Dine Out Lauderdale. I'm going to check out a lot of these places in September. Once I'm done and I put down all the sandwiches, I'm going to get back with a knife and fork and start eating a little more civilized. Maybe a nice glass of wine, a little cocktail, along with these 3 and 4 course meals that are going for $35 or $45 at these various locations. Check it all out at visitlauderdale.com/deals so you can start planning your culinary adventures. Again, visitlauderdale.com/deals for all the Dine Out Lauderdale specials. And we'll be back to talk. Well, I guess we're going to be talking with Nikki later on all month long on Thursdays. And hopefully we'll get out there with Stacy and pick a good one for one last hurrah before the new season begins.
We have to take advantage of that 3 course meal for $45 at
Yeah,
the
that's
Cafe
insane.
Max. That's a hell of a deal there because your entree alone usually run you like 40 plus
Yep.
at the Cafe Mex. So whatever they're offering, I'm sure it's going to be dynamite. And hopefully, I mean, 3 courses at the max, more than enough, I think, to even satisfy the gambling gourmet, Mike Mayo, Mr. Feature Article guy. Unbelievable. All right. He's got the tongue sandwich. He's all in on that. And that's going to be like sandwich number 40 something. And tomorrow we have the top round thing, and then finish it off at La Spana's Original Hoagies, Lauderdale by the Sea. So that's going to be great. And then we're hoping that Sarni will deem this National Salad Month coming up in September so that we can get you back on track.
So you know what they say at the end of Sandwich Month? Instead of stick a fork in me, I'm done.
Yeah.
Stick a toothpick in me, I'm done.
Surprised you haven't swallowed a couple of toothpicks in your anxious.
I might have a splinter. I think I got a splinter.
Get to the sandwich before anybody else did. All right, coming back with more. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, the feature article boy, Michael Mayo, and more of the Lunchbox here in a moment.
Pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style. A pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. I'm Mike Mayo, joined by Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. I don't know. I did we talk about what you guys did over the weekend? You said a lot of gambling, Defo. Did you do anything?
I had a dining experience. It wasn't really on my dime, but it was kind of interesting. At the Oceanic, which is a nice establishment.
I like that place. Yeah,
I like it. I mean, as I said, and you jump down my throat every time I qualify something by saying it's not my favorite place, but it doesn't mean that it's bad, and a lot of people love it. But I'm not inclined to go out of my way to go have like a meal at the Oceanic. I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, can we meet somewhere and by the water or whatever," I would consider it. But anyway, friends of mine were celebrating a birthday party. And they had taken the private room, and they had obviously the restaurant catering this party, and they had a bunch of chafing dishes set up, but they ran out of 2 of the main items like before the line was halfway through.
That sucks.
And my friend who was throwing a party, Tony, he's a very gracious guy, and he was very cool about this. But you should have seen the long faces of the people. They tried their best, I guess, to accommodate. But what do you do when you're shut out? They were already out of like a dish that was going to take them at least another half hour to comprise, and put together more of it. And then they were out of like the steak portion of things, which was very popular. Obviously, people are going there saying, "Oh, good steak," and they're grabbing it out of this chafing dish. And it was interesting because what do you do in that spot? Now he handled it very well. Like I said, this is a very gracious individual, but I could almost sense steam coming out of his ears. And the 2 guys that looked like they were part of restaurant management, they had some really long faces on as they try to figure out how to resolve this issue in a short period of time because literally like half the people were still online and the only thing left was like a bunch of mashed potatoes, which were very tasty. But
you know what I do at that point?
What do you do? I mean, they had to know how many people were coming. It wasn't like all of a sudden 100 extra people showed up. I mean,
just start bringing out the champagne bottles and the vodka and just start pouring drinks and just say
the drinks were there, open bar. Yeah,
just start pouring. Have people go out. actively pour and encourage champagne drinking and say, just distract people long enough until you can get that next batch out. But if they didn't have enough, if they, that shows.
And it wasn't like
some
people
sort
were
of-
going Lubie at a buffet where, they piled up the crabs like
Right.
it was deadly as catch. I mean, this was, like people with usual
Sounds like there was
decorum
some sort of supply
I mean, they just
issues or
miscalculated, completely. Yeah.
That's
So what do you
that's-
do? I mean, how do you resolve that to the client? Do you just give them like half their money back or something?
I don't know what you do. This is a real pickle, but it gives me anxiety the same way that one of the things I did this weekend is I binge watched that show The Bear, which a lot of
that's what I was
people were
gonna say.
talking
Your
about.
critique was interesting. I actually like The Bear a lot. I found it more comedic than I guess you found it.
Oh yeah, well, it was labeled a comedy. I mean, look,
I
it had a
thought-
lot of comedy moments, but as somebody who's like connected to the restaurant industry and knows people in the restaurant business, and actually lost a friend to suicide, so and again, this is one of the underpinnings of the whole series is a suicide of the brother, and then who leaves the restaurant to his other chef brother. But anyway, to me, there's a lot of anxiety producing moments, including that moment where you realize you're completely effed when you get that good review and the people are lined up out the doors and the takeout tickets are streaming in by the dozens and you don't have enough product. You're going to be running out of food. And then what do you do?
I was
You
the
just have to
Oceanic on Saturday night, private party.
give people
Yeah.
rain checks. Now,
Don't you start
Oceanic-
bringing out? We had a suggestion here from Scott. Don't you have like a bunch of pizzas? You at least bring those
That's right.
out.
That's right.
You immediately
Those-
call Domino's and they come running in the door and you take them out of the boxes there and act like you made them yourself.
You should have something in the cooler like that's on standby, whether it's just a couple of fish sandwiches or something. Just throw it out there.
This was like a simple dish of shrimp and pasta too, and then I guess they ran out of the steak, so they were down to. It wasn't just mashed potatoes; they also still had some Brussels sprouts. So even that was running short, and the lady brings out like a spoonful and puts it in the chafing dish. I'm like, wait, these guys are scraping the floor.
So
trying to
now
come up with
this
food.
is all right. I don't want to be so it's the group LM Restaurant Group that they have a bunch of restaurants in North Carolina, and then they've been expanding rapidly here in South Florida. They
with
opened
great
up
success.
Oceanic, then they opened up Lucky Fish next door. They're in the middle of doing something. I don't know if they're the ones involved with there's a restaurant that's being redone at the Cove in Deerfield Beach. It might be them. I know they also were operating this restaurant in a fancy condo on Fort Lauderdale Beach in the new Paramount condos, and the name of the restaurant was Maria, not to be confused with the Michelin-starred Morea in New York City. But this one,
And how about that Dania Beach place, which is like
and then in the middle of
they're
constructing a new Lucky Fish down near Fort Lauderdale Pier on the south end. It used to be the Dania Beach. So they got their hands on a lot of things now. But that Maria place shut down pretty abruptly after just only 8 months. And that was
maybe they were in a catering business like that. I mean, don't you run down? I mean, if you're in conjunction with the Lucky Fish at the very least, don't you tell them, hey, put 50 wings in the fryer right now and run them upstairs to the private party because we're out of food.
Dolphin fingers,
yeah.
just
we couldn't even get into the usual food fight as sometimes erupts from these occasions with these people because there was nothing to throw around.
You would think they'd have a few hundred, chilled shrimp on deck somewhere at the
something.
Lucky Fish.
Yeah,
just bring up a shrimp platter. But hey, I don't know how these things happen, but again, they do happen. That's all part of the business, and it's how a place recovers and makes amends, which is the key to the whole thing. Hey, want to bring up a couple of things. We had our spot for the pizza spot. I believe that they're gone this week on their regularly scheduled hiatuses. So Wade and Reese, if anybody's out there jonesing for one of those great, delicious New Haven style pizzas at the pizza spot in Fort Lauderdale, I think they're going to be reopening on the Tuesday after Labor Day now.
Are they feeling any heat, Wade and Reese, to put the clam pie together because of the presence now of other New Haven style pizza joints, which aren't nearby, but might be something that entices people to go somewhere else?
I've always asked, but he seems like a bit of a perfectionist, and he's not quite sure about the supply and just the storage situation. I don't know what the issue is. I've been harping on him for well over a year. At some point, maybe he'll do it, but
I mean, he doesn't have to because he's got plenty of offerings there that
he's
are
he's
unbelievable.
got great product, but a lot of people do associate clam pie with New Haven pizzas. So we'll see what he does. I'll get after him again. But the point being, make sure you call before you go out there because I think I think he told me they were done from now the 29th until the 6th. I got to double check my notes, but so call before you head out to the pizza spot. But I believe they're going to be open again starting next Tuesday after Labor Day. The other thing is I did talk to Joey. Talk about having a weekend of degeneracy. Joey and his gang. It was kind of like me. I had a very unfruitful weekend with the Travers. I gave out my picks, and of course, like it. Epicenter was too strong. Cyberknife, my picks finished second. And I'm like hitting myself afterwards and saying, I played like this little trifecta. I got back $13 because all my big tickets went up in smoke. But, I ended up putting 200 into the race. And I think I got,
wow, you went all in.
I got $13.75 back, which is better than Joey and his crew. They put together a $2,800 pick 5 ticket, which they hit, and it returned $586.
Well, you need those bombs to come in there. I tell you what, this was impressive and very interesting from a newspaper standpoint. I know you still have a deep interest in newspapers, having grown up with that 30-something years at the Sun Sentinel. I get my Sunday edition of the New York Post, which I only buy for the sports section. The right-wing rhetoric that occupies and comprises most of it, I have no interest in except to laugh at it. But nothing, not a word on the Travers. I don't know if this was just my Bulldog edition that I get.
Yeah,
not a word on the Travers, and no Saratoga results.
You got to understand.
I was devastated when I got onto the throne there, and I couldn't find it. I thought maybe I dropped a page of the paper, but nowhere.
I don't know what it's going to take to teach you this old dog some new tricks. But again, that edition of the Sunday Post that you get delivered with the horse and buggy on a printing press probably goes to bed about, and it's printed at the Sun Sentinel's printing facility because they print every paper under the sun.
Yes.
And I think the New York Post is probably off the floor there at about 5 p.m. So it's before the races.
It's later than that because they usually would have this in the Sunday paper. I mean,
it might have been.
They have results from like 9, 10 o'clock. I would say is about when they put that
typically.
Thing out.
But this week maybe they had to get off the floor earlier. And if it doesn't have any results and it doesn't have any stories on the Travers, it just means you have to go on your phone and look up NewYorkPost.com to get your coverage, and go to Ecobase.com for your racing results. And I know it's just anathema to you. How about that for an SAT word?
You could throw. I mean, all of a sudden you're Don King. You're just going to throw big words out there. It's like if it's truculent, if that's good, it's me. As Muhammad Ali said. Yes.
When I eat tongue, all the big words slip off.
Yeah, you were speaking in tongues. You really are. It actually happened here on the show. It was interesting though. I mean, if you saw the shot, they had a pretty good shot at the top of the stretch of the horses. And Epicenter was coming up between horses, and I'm looking, and all you have to do, sometimes you just watch the jockey's hands for the uninitiated, and you can kind of see where your horse is at. And I'm looking, and if you ever saw, speaking of the bear, if you ever saw a horse that was loaded for bear, it was Epicenter at the top of the stretch. And the guy, you could tell, clearly had not even asked his horse to run a step yet. And he was about to explode, just like he did in the Jim Dandy, and blow by the field, but never in my life have I looked at a horse at the top of the stretch that was still in contention and, with 3 or 4 other horses in with a shot and just said, this race is absolutely over. Very, very impressive by Epicenter.
Well, the race was basically over after, I'd say, a half mile because Florent Giroux on Cyberknife just basically was prompted to go too fast by that other horse that pressured him, the 3 horse that was, I forget the name of it. But they basically went too fast in the first quarter. In the Cyberknife, clearly very game animal because he held on for second after cutting some very quick fractions for 1.25 miles. The race was very fast. It was like 2 minutes and change.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of speed figure Epicenter earned. And we're talking in tongues now to all the non-gamblers, non-degenerates in the audience now. But it was an impressive race. Tactically, it was just once Cyberknife got pressured into going too fast too soon, It was just a question of how where would Cyberknife hold on for, and then Epicenter, like you said, motionless, and Joel Rosario just basically gave him mild urging, and he blew by him. Very impressive, and it's going to make for an interesting second half of the season because that was Epicenter's first Grade 1 victory. We're talking horses now on the Lunchbox.
Well, I
Let's
got
do
one
these
for you
things.
on the food
I-
front, just
but-
for before these people,
Wait,
get
I want to do one
psychotic.
more sports thing because
Yeah.
well, first of all, it's a tragic weekend, and learning of the
really
passing
sad.
of Jason Jenkins of the Dolphins, and I know you talked about it at length on the morning show today. I did not know him. I didn't really have much dealings with the Dolphins at all in my last decade at the paper, and I guess he started working there about 12 years ago, right? But 47 is way too young. And it's absolutely crushing. I don't know how the Dolphins, still they were professionals and they managed to play a really good game. And Tua looked absolutely fantastic, right? I don't know how much it means, but that's the kind of thing you wanted to see out of Tua, right?
Well, this was a really good guy. Lubie and I had many experiences with him, including the time he picked up the tab for the drinks at the airport when we were going to the Super Bowl one year, and just happened to run into him. And I consider anybody that reaches for an airport bar check to be above mensch standard. But beyond that, I still remember it was kind of funny. I didn't know Jason that much or that well at the time. He had just kind of become new, and we were out there doing remotes all the time at the Dolphins preseason practices when they open up training camp. And he comes over to me, and I didn't really know him that well. And he says, I knew he was a PR guy. And he says, our defensive coordinator wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, geez, what the hell could we have said about how lousy this defense is? There's a guy named Kevin Coyle at the time. And, I'm just having fun when I'm doing these shows. I don't really want somebody to call me on the carpet and, make me accountable for every word that I said. We exaggerate a lot of stuff. But anyway, so I'm thinking, oh, great. I can look forward to getting chewed out by some, real, old school, hard knocks defensive coordinator. And it turned out that so he introduces me to the guy, knowing that I'm like, thinking this is going to be awful. And it turns out the guy loved the show. and the entire defensive staff, coaching staff, spent their time in meetings doing impressions of Lubie and me doing our show. So they actually did one, and he orchestrated this whole thing. And I thought, wow, that's far fetched for like most of these sports PR guys. They don't usually engage in that type of fun. And so we always liked him. He was always very good to us, no matter what we needed, and really was immersed. And talk about this a lot in sports. Does the team really do anything for the community? I think the Dolphins do a lot of things that are very well meant in the community, including their cancer drive and all of this other stuff. So they're immersed in that. And Jenkins really dove into this, beyond the scope of people that were in that position previously, and I kind of became the liaison for the Dolphins and the community. Yes. And everybody loved this guy. So it was a shocker. It was one of those things where you heard a guy died and you said, my God. Yeah. It was like finding out when, that Kobe died in a helicopter crash. Very similar, like just a complete shock out of nowhere.
Very tragic, leaves behind 3 kids. And we just nothing but condolences to his friends and family, and didn't hear a bad word about the guy. Now I regret never having met him or dealing with him, because somebody who was really special. Hey, let's take our final break now.
I did want to throw this in there, though, because you'll love this. This is right out of your court of appeals when it comes to doing stupid things in a restaurant. But so I get my usual comp there after Mustang was sending it in on the slot machines at the Isle Casino, and they have the Myron's Deli place.
Yep.
And the lady tells me that the special, Mike Mayo, I thought of you right away. She says the special today is orange chicken over fried rice at this Jewish deli. So what do I do? Just to see what would Mayo do in this situation? I order it.
Oh my God! Do you ever learn? Do you ever learn?
No. Well, here's the thing. It was great. It was
like
really
the people
good.
Who order. Well,
you would have sworn you were, getting top-notch stuff from the Peking Duck House.
It's like you ordering the ribeye steak at the Greek restaurant. Just don't do it, okay?
This
stop.
was good. Mike Mayo, right. They did a great job. I mean, the orange chicken over fried rice, if they have it on the special again, at Myron's Deli,
a pleasant
was
surprise.
very, very good. Yeah,
pleasant surprise.
See, you don't allow this to be possible, but it was. I'm telling you.
Look,
I couldn't wait to eat the rest of it this morning after I did the show. I couldn't wait to finish it off. It was
even
that
a
good.
broken clock allows a squirrel to find a nut twice a day. How's that for a mixed metaphor? Okay, let's
Chinese
take our final
food
break.
and a Jewish deli. Don't get crazy there, Mike Mayo.
I'm
You're
getting
the one that
crazy
keeps
because I got to
chiming
talk
in
about
with stuff.
Tropical Acres after the break. We have some Let's Eat South Florida discussion about
All right.
Tropical Acres. I'm going there tomorrow night to show my support because I love
You really
Jack's
should.
Studio Island Group. So, but let's take the final break and we'll come back to wrap up this edition. Come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. And there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. From our friends at Visit Lauderdale and Lauderdeals, don't miss Dine Out Lauderdale during August and September in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Dozens of top restaurants are offering amazing 3 and 4 course meals starting at just $35. See all the Dine Out Lauderdale menus from more than 50 participating restaurants online at visitlauderdale.com/deals. More taste sensations are being added daily, so plan your culinary adventure to Greater Fort Lauderdale and get your taste of the good life for less. Dig in now at visitlauderdale.com/deal. For a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo here for Costas Greek Eatery and Pizzeria. If you want to take a trip to the Aegean without getting on a plane and no need for a passport, just go up to 1940 Northeast 49th Street in Pompano Beach, just west of Federal Highway, just a little bit north of Sample Road, and you will be transported to Greece along with a New York-style pizzeria. They do it both so well. They got Greek specialties like gyros and souvlaki and the grape leaves and the spinach pie, and also great New York thin, crisp New York-style Greek pizza with pepperoni. Don't miss that one. And of course, spinach and gorgonzola. Costa is a great guy. He'll smash a plate, say Opa, and greet and treat you like family. Go to Costas. It's open every day for lunch and dinner. Tell him the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. All right, we're back on a Monday edition of the Lunchbox. I'm nursing a cold. I'm eating tongue. I'm gesticulating wildly because I know we're running out of time. But I did want to mention our friends, Jack Studiali and company over at Tropical Acres. Once again, on the Let's Eat group, I mean, I always put my polarizing place alert, but I guess somebody didn't have the best experience there, which doesn't jibe with my experiences because we love Tropical Acres. But it always sets off a firestorm. And I don't know. I don't understand these people. Look, Jack Studiali, class guy. It's been there for all this time. He knows the place isn't for everyone. Not everybody's going to love every dish, but if there's a problem, he wants to know about it, and they'll try to make it right. I don't know what happened in this particular instance, but I don't know if some people are just impossible to please. Maybe if they order something medium and they have to send it back 3 times. I don't know what happened. All I know is I can't wait to go in there tomorrow because it's a tradition for me and my family. We go in the last night of summer. From my daughter's school resumes on Wednesday. So tomorrow night we're heading into Tropical Acres. I'm going to get some of those great twin lobster specials, what we enjoyed, for $35. You get 2 of them from along with a side dish and a salad. I don't know what more people want. They've got good service, good food, and great value. So that's Tropical Acres to me.
Porterhouse.
And
Half price wine night tomorrow night too, which I know is one of the reasons you're happy about it. That it's taking place on a Tuesday, but it's crazy. Those comments are absurd. And anyway, I have never gone there and experienced that kind of disastrous
Oh,
all
Look,
around
they had
experience. I mean,
they
it's
had an
crazy.
extremely busy late. It was like being in the middle of season holiday week because they were very generous to offer free entrees up to $35
Yeah.
for teachers. And they ended up getting packed like 4 nights in a row, Monday through Thursday, and then came into their usual heavy nights of the weekend. So I'm sure the staff was a little bit fatigued and maybe, things happen. And I guess they always say no good deed goes unpunished. In doing a wonderful thing for the local teaching corps, the staff got stretched to the max, and not to make excuses because every time I've been in there, I've never had an issue, but who knows what happened? But that's it. I love them. They've been great supporters of us in the show. And you know what? Yeah, I've occasionally had to send something back there if it wasn't cooked to the way I ordered it, but they take care of it right away without a fuss or muss. So that's all you want from a restaurant. That's why I'm a big fan of Tropical Acres. And go, I urge everybody to check it out for themselves. Don't
Yeah,
believe
great
what
stuff.
anybody says, whether it's good or bad. Try it for yourself because you just might like it. I know I love it. I've been going there for over 30 years. So that'll do it for today. Defo, Lubie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at Top Round. Come on out, the corner of Federal and Broward Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. We'll be eating more sandwiches. What a change. See you then. And remember, to my pops, enjoy every tongue sandwich.